Lately, DDG has found himself entangled in a web of drama that stretches far beyond music. The YouTuber-turned-rapper, known for his charisma, vlogs, and charting singles, is once again in the center of controversy, this time caught up in an ongoing feud with Cinco. What started as a difference in perspective has gradually spiraled into a heated exchange of words, accusations, and live-stream shade sessions that have drawn in other figures from the entertainment scene, including Osiris. The entire saga has become yet another example of how personal relationships in the digital age, particularly within influencer circles, can combust in real time before millions of curious onlookers. The tension began earlier this month when Cinco, a fellow content creator and artist, went live to express his frustrations and disappointments following his departure from the Capaholics group. Cinco's tone throughout the stream wasn't one of anger. At first, it was more of exasperation mixed with disappointment, the kind that comes from realizing that a shared dream may not align with one's values. Viewers tuned in expecting a casual chat but were instead met with an emotionally charged moment. Cinco opened up about what he had been feeling during his time with the group, hinting at internal friction and unspoken power dynamics. He accused an unnamed member of feeling as though they ran the program. And while he never explicitly mentioned DDG by name during the stream, his comments seemed pointed enough that fans immediately began to speculate. The opportunity looked promising, but it's like, man, I can't go against myself for that *T. I can't, Cinco confessed during the live. His tone was raw, the words coming from a place of inner conflict. That's selling my soul. That's genuinely selling my soul. Going against what I believe in is right, and doing it for some money, for some opportunities. I can't do it, brah. I can't. I just couldn't. Bro. It was the kind of statement that resonated deeply with people who have ever had to choose between loyalty and self-respect, but it also sent shockwaves through the online community that had been following Capaholics since its inception. The group had been marketed as a tight-knit circle of creators and artists who aimed to push culture forward together. So, when Cinco implied that things behind the scenes were less than ideal, the audience immediately began dissecting his words, frame by frame, trying to decode the subtext. It didn't take long for DDG to catch wind of Cinco's remarks. Known for his quick responses and unwillingness to let disrespect slide, DDG was swift and direct in his reply. Taking to his own platform, he fired back at Cinco's comments, calling him out for speaking negatively about Capaholics and for attempting to cast a shadow on something he once proudly represented. Just because you're a part of something doesn't mean you gotta diss it, DDG said, his tone somewhere between irritation and disappointment. Knowing that we trying to do something new, knowing that we trying to build something to try and pin a narrative on a brand new group is very selfish and lame. For DDG, who's built his brand around confidence and control, Cinco's public statements might have felt like a betrayal. From DDG's perspective, Capaholics wasn't just a content collective, it was an evolving movement, something that could potentially expand beyond music and social media into a lifestyle brand. To him, Cinco's comments threatened not just his reputation but the group's unity. So, when DDG doubled down by declaring, "I am the program," it was less of a boast and more of an assertion, a statement that he saw himself as the driving force, the architect of what Capaholics stood for. But those words didn't sit right with everyone. To some viewers, it came across as egotistical, as if DDG was claiming sole ownership of a vision that had been built collectively. And among those critics was none other than Osiris, who decided to throw his own opinion into the mix during a live stream of his own. Osiris, who's never been shy about speaking his mind, made it clear that he wasn't impressed with how DDG handled the situation. He accused DDG of trying to put Cinco in a box, suggesting that DDG's need for control may have stifled the creative and personal freedom of those around him. YK's comments added fuel to an already raging fire. The program is God, he said pointedly. As captured by Liv Biddis, I feel like if it's gonna happen for somebody, it's gonna happen for somebody. His words carried a spiritual undertone, implying that no man, no matter how influential, could control another person's destiny. Fans of Osiris immediately took his side, praising him for calling out what they perceived as DDG's inflated sense of self. Others, however, defended DDG, arguing that his "I am the program" statement had been misunderstood, that it wasn't about arrogance, but rather about accountability and leadership within a project he helped shape from the ground up. As the internet often does, it divided into camps. Social media became a battleground for opinions, with hashtags like #Team Cinco, #Team DDG, and hashtag #YKSpeaks trending on X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok. Comment sections lit up with debates about loyalty, ego, and authenticity in the influencer world. Some fans even went so far as to dig up old clips of DDG and Cinco together, analyzing their interactions for signs of underlying tension. Others speculated that the feud might be a publicity stunt. After all, drama drives engagement, and both artists are savvy enough to know that controversy sells. But behind the screens and streams, the tension seemed very real. For Cinco, leaving Capaholics wasn't just about stepping away from a group, it was about reclaiming his sense of self. For DDG, being publicly challenged by someone he once considered part of his creative circle likely cut deeper than fans realized. Their clash exposed the fragile balance between friendship and business, between collaboration and competition. The feud's timing also couldn't have been more chaotic for DDG. While he was dealing with online drama, he was also navigating a far more serious and personal battle, one that extended into the courtroom: his ongoing custody and restraining order situation with his ex. Halle Bailey has cast a long shadow over his public image and emotional state. The two, who once appeared to be one of Hollywood's most admired young couples, have been locked in a bitter dispute that has spilled into the public eye, despite their efforts to keep things private. Earlier this year, reports surfaced that Halle Bailey had filed for a restraining order against DDG, alleging that he had violently attacked her during an argument. The details of the incident were heartbreaking, with Bailey claiming that she feared for her safety. The court granted her request, temporarily restricting DDG's access to her and their child. In a move that shocked many, DDG later filed a restraining order of his own, alleging that he, too, had been mistreated and manipulated in the relationship. It was a stunning escalation that revealed just how deep their personal issues had gone, far beyond what fans had seen in their carefully curated YouTube vlogs or affectionate Instagram posts. Bailey, known for her poise and soft-spoken nature, has maintained primary temporary custody of their child, while DDG has been seeking to secure shared parenting rights. Sources close to both sides describe the situation as tense and emotionally draining, with each accusing the other of misrepresenting the truth. The once inseparable couple, who had publicly celebrated milestones together from Halle's pregnancy journey to DDG's support of her career-defining role in The Little Mermaid, now found themselves standing on opposite sides of a courtroom, their relationship reduced to legal filings and protective orders. Fans who had followed their love story from the beginning found it hard to reconcile the image of the smiling, supportive couple they saw online with the ugly allegations now surfacing. When DDG posted cryptic tweets about being misunderstood and fighting demons, his supporters interpreted them as signs of emotional turmoil. Meanwhile, Halle, who has always maintained a level of grace and restraint in public, appeared to take the higher road, choosing silence over confrontation. Yet, even in her silence, her absence from DDG's content spoke volumes.